What if Deku had EAQ Part 7? Kunda begins to speak. Hello everyone, are you ready for this? Then let's begin, shall we? As time speeds up, Bakugo makes his appearance, finally causing the building to violently shake uncontrollably. Bakugo, being fueled by revenge for what Deku did to him, he comes in swinging his left arm wildly. Deku at the same time turns and asks Uraka, does she trust him? Looking her in the eyes, she says yes, then gets placed next to the bomb. Bakugo, seeing this, start throwing left punch, right kick, upper right hook haymaker spontaneously at Deku, trying to nail him, which turns pointless in a few seconds to everyone else watching. Meanwhile, we cut over to Ida and Uraka, who are both in the same room. Ochako hears Ida's loud voice practicing his villainous monologue, loud enough, so loudly she has enough time to laugh at him, record it, posting it on social media, make the bomb and herself weightless. As Bakugo tuckered himself out after fighting Pure Air for a few minutes, Deku asked him, what have you been training with? A TV remote and chips all day? Deku making jokes as Bakugo comes more undone each swing he takes and energy he burns, the end is near. We cut to Uraka and Ida as he turns, finally notices the bomb is gone. He begins scanning the room in search only to can't find it, then looks up to see it airborne with Uraka. She sees Ida, waves, then smiles at him. Ida thinks and decides to use his leg boosters to run on the wall to reach Uraka by jumping at the precise moment in order to get the bomb back. It doesn't work. While Deku was fighting, Kunda asked Deku through the link about his partner. Deku, being a super tactical person, tells Kunda he is waiting for her signature signal. Kunda taps into Deku hearing, realizing the term signal. Simultaneously, Ida's last attempt works, causing Uraka's heart to skip a pulse. Bakugo, wanting to prove himself, charged at Deku. Deku, knowing it's time, lets Bakugo reach to grab Deku's face, only for the reverse to happen instead. He got grabbed by Deku, then Deku appeared in front of Ida with Bakugo in his right hand, turns, back kicks Ida in front air, sending him back into the wall, then on top of that throws Bakugo into Ida against the damaged wall already as they both hit the ground unconscious. Deku grabbed his partner's hand, turns to her asking how she is, leaving her just like last time, only she responds with, I'm okay, where were you this whole time? Playing around with Bakugo ego. Everyone is shocked at how Deku made a fool of Bakugo. As both parties got back, All Might started to think to himself, is that kid really quirkless? As he thinks about the tunnel, it hits him like bricks. That's the kid he's got questions for about that day. All Might checks back in time for him to ask the class questions on the mistakes that were made on the heroes versus villains match. All Might looks around, sees Momo hands up. She points out the lack of focus, Bakugo temper control, Ida's assumption of his opponent's overall strength factor as a whole in of itself, not to mention Bakugo's destructive nature, played a role in which she points out the only real damage done by the heroes was the wall imprint made by Deku's fight with Ida and Bakugo. All Might, still being impressed with Momo's natural intelligence in pointing out the flaws in the training exam. As of course the day would go by, everyone else performed at their best, with some passing, others failing due to reaching their quirk's limit. Although the last ones were Todoroki and Invisible Girl, who nearly got frozen over completely by her partner due to his half and half quirk, by him freezing the hallway all the way into the room itself, including their opponents getting trapped in ice. Deku, the very next day, everyone was boarding the bus on a school field trip instructed by Aizawa, our homeroom teacher who told us the famous hero 13 would be there as well as number 1 hero, All Might himself. Suyu had stated that Class 1A had 3 strong students. One was Midoriya, Bako, and Todoroki. In terms of power, as she was sitting, she turns to Deku, making the point, trying to say his power seems very similar to his in a way. Deku says to Suyu that Bako has an explosive quirk. Do you think the second hero is related to him in any shape or form because of his quirk type in any circumstance? Suyu, feeling pretty silly at this point, decides to abandon the subject. As the conversation closes, everyone gets off the bus. The teacher asks everyone there not to embarrass him, excluding Midoriya, of course, as they're walking in for Deku to pick up on the villain's location. And Kunda feels Deku's nerve levels begin to rise. Deku keeps calm until they get to the last step. Once they do, they're greeted by Ochako favorite idol hero number 13 as she explains what the USJ is as a whole and exact what it's for, being the use of quirk control, teaching heroes to keep their quirks from hurting civilian populations at large in disaster situations around the world. 13 looks at Deku and says, "Young man, can you explain the dangers of quirk use in populated areas?" Deku says yes. Then he points out Kirishima hardening quirk mixed with Ochako quirk can destroy multiple buildings, and Ashido alone can melt things or people depending on where her acid lands. 13 is impressed with Deku understanding how certain quirks work. While this was happening, Deku felt the villains coming. He rushes to their teacher, asking permission to get the classmates to safety. Aizawa not gonna question Deku. He does instant split second everyone, including 13 out the building. The entire building enters lockdown mode. Aizawa pairs just barely touching Deku back, asking if he can get them out. Deku says yeah he can, just a few minutes. Aizawa agrees to this. Before Aizawa can say anything to Deku, plan-wise, they're surrounded. Plus, Shigaraki and Kurogiri makes their entrance. Mainly Shigaraki gets upset. Where are the students? He asks Kurogiri right next to him. He says they're outside, which she starts to laugh insanely. Deku and Aizawa, of course, have that look as they both prepare themselves. Kunda, here, everyone. Next time, the plot comes to pieces. See you everyone. Bye.
It takes me down, push me down, push me down. It's too high.